Good morning. I'm John Ellsworth, founder of Success Strategies Incorporated and the creator of the Success Strategies Advantage. I want to welcome you to today's presentation, which I have entitled, If You Think for One Moment. And I think if you think for one moment that you can do something, you are correct. I think more importantly, Joshua Becker, in a really great article I read recently entitled 4 Reasons You Can, explained the benefits of changed thinking. Now, so often in life, we are busy being told, be realistic, be realistic. And while these people, they may be our parents, may be siblings, may be friends, neighbors, their intentions are probably good, they're well-meaning, but they tend to temper our expectations. And then as a result, what happens? We accept less. We accept less than is possible in life. And again, these may be well-meaning friends or relatives, but the reality is we can't let them convince us that everything is too risky. Remember that today's greatest tools and inventions were yesterday's crazy ideas. Again, I will say that one more time. Remember that today's great tools and inventions were essentially yesterday's crazy idea, where everybody was saying, what would I need that for? Well, the reality is now we have to have it. Take the cell phone, for example. That's a great example. I think if you do a survey of people, very few of them can tell you what they want in life. However, you will find that 95% of people can tell you what they don't want in life. And I want to share a story with you from Joshua Becker. He talked about a conference that he attended for writers, and a fairly well-known author was asked, I think her name was Anne Lamott, who was asked, what's it going to take to be a writer? And this is what she said in response, and I quote, she replied, listen, there is always going to be an available excuse as to why you can't do your writing. You are newly married, you have a young child, next you'll have more than one child, or you'll be parenting teenagers, or beginning a new career, or you'll be traveling too often, or involved in this or that. There will always be a reason why you think you can't do what you need to do. The pursuit is to overcome these obstacles in order to realize what you were called to accomplish. And he goes on to say, I've never forgotten Anne's words of wisdom that day. In fact, it's been 10 years since I heard this, and I still remember where I was sitting in that room. How do I find time to become a writer I want to be? I'm a new mother, tired and ragged, just can't find the energy to write during this phase of my life. Should I wait until it passes? And Anne's response, as I just read to you, was very pointed and memorable, where it stuck with Joshua, who's become very successful as a writer. But this isn't about becoming a successful writer. His point is this: you can reach the goal that you have in mind, whether it's in your business, your family, your life. You can have it. You've got to, however, get beyond the paralysis of pessimism. And remember, and I'm not sure who this quote came from, but I think it's right on target. The 2 most important days in your life are, number 1, the day you were born, and number 2, the day you figure out why and what you can contribute as a result of that. So instead of asking if you can do something, here's something I've tried and it works really well. Ask yourself, how can I do something? I was working on a client debt restructure recently, and I just had this epiphany that instead of worrying about if we could do it, I thought, how could we do it that would satisfy the bank, the IRS, and everyone else involved in the process? And I think I've come up with that solution. But I did it late at night, which is not normally my best time for thinking and analyzing. And I made an outline, and I slept on it. And by the next morning, I had all kinds of ideas that I could present, and I'm working on that currently. But I think the important thing is, if you can do something, ask yourself, how can I do it? Write it down, and your subconscious mind will work on it. Even when you don't want it to be working on it, even when you're sleeping, it'll be working on it. So as Joshua Becker said, and I quote, Those who focus on the reasons they can will find hope, energy, and perseverance. End of quote. And I will leave you in closing with one quick question. What goal or decision have you been putting off? What goal or decision have you been putting off? Let that sink in, think about it, and I wish you well in your discovery process. Again, I'm John Ellsworth, founder of Success Strategies Incorporated and the creator of the Success Strategies Advantage. Thank you very much for listening.